opening up. Here we go. Woohoo! Ready to roll. Look at everybody jumping in here. A couple more. Got a couple people jumping in. Dennis, turn your screen off for a second. I want to see that behind the scenes picture again. Can you hear me, Dennis? No, not yet. Okay. I love his seat. Wow, look at Linda. Definitely out on the job. Hi, you guys. Oh, I love it. Awesome. See? Okay, so the reason I did that is because Dennis, he's like now got that picture. He's now got his 107 and he's just really stepping things up. But I'm so proud of him. Look at him go. Hi, Jim. How you doing? Yeah, doing all kinds of jobs this week? Yeah.
Actually, it's a little bit of a slow week. We are doing purchase orders to buy a bunch of new equipment. So we're gonna beat the remote ID before it catches everybody.
Aha, like it. Nice. Awesome. Hi, Brenda. How you doing? You been out flying?
Not really.
No.
No, my college just got their because I'm in the aviation department, they got their full motion simulator installed.
Nice. Hi.
So I'm gonna work my way into trying to have some fun on that, but we're really just setting up the new drone department. That's the new drones and new programs, so we're all excited about it.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Yes. All right. Awesome. Looks like we have Stephen Graves here. Hi, how you doing? I see
Doing
you
wonderful.
here. Thank you for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. Oh, I just love that everybody's jumping on here. We're going to give it a second. Even when they're out working in the field, they take time to be here on Coffee Connection. How
Look at
cool is
Linda.
that?
Linda's out there doing the job right now.
Rocking it.
She's so awesome. That's my girl.
Actually, I don't even think she can hear us right now, but I'm curious what state she's even in, right?
Well, wherever it is, it's cold.
Yeah. Awesome. So we're gonna let a few more people in here really quick, like before we get the ball rolling. And got a couple more. Oh my gosh, Vic, I don't even recognize you, right?
Well, Vic was on Star last night. It was a good episode last night, Vic. Thank you.
It was fun. It was fun. Good. Yeah, sorry, I have been so absent lately. My life has been what it is. So, but yeah.
Awesome. And I think you have a webinar podcast that you're doing
tonight
this afternoon. Tell us about that.
Yeah, with Pilot Institute. If you remember on their Facebook page, we're going to go over Kenji and I are going to be there and go over our waivers, our FPVVO waivers.
Ah, I love it. I love it.
We were going to ask you guys too, as soon as we figure out what we're doing, if you guys want to do a Women in Drones Q&A for the waiver.
Why do we? Don't have to say that twice, right?
Okay, well, we'll be in touch.
All right, I love it. Awesome. Pounds. Hey, oh my gosh, this is a fantastic day. I can't believe everybody's jumping in here.
Must be a slow morning in the drone world.
No. Hey.
Only because we all have the time to be here. That's all.
I know. So all right. Well, I know everybody is working hard out in the field, and they decided to come and join us today because of our phenomenal spotlight speaker. Because when we think about business aspects, I asked that question a while ago about what do you want to know about, and everybody wants to talk about their business, building it in various different ways. And what a fantastic topic today. We have Denise here. She is going to be sharing with us about web page optimization. And this is just, to me, so foreign because, it's one thing to be a remote pilot, but it's another to get behind the computer and go, hey, how am I going to boost this? So Denise, I'm super excited to have you here with us. I'm going to make you spotlight. Thank you for joining us. And Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your company, just to kind of kick things off?
Sure. Yeah, I'm an award-winning web designer, the only woman to win this award through Wix. Wix is my platform. And I started my business about 5 years ago from really, it was based off a journey in Bali. In the 90s, I started learning HTML coding. I'm really dating myself, I know right now. But when I was in Bali, I met this gentleman who didn't know anything about technology stuff, and his business was failing. And so I spent my last week there. I was there for a month, getting him online and setting him up. And he became the #1 restaurant in his area within 3 months' time. And so I was really excited with the opportunities that presented for him, and just thinking about how I can help other small businesses achieve their goals. It would be such an honor. So I started my business 5 years ago now, just rebranded to ZHOOSH back in September of last year. And it's been really great, a wonderful journey.
Awesome. Awesome. And I know you've got some tips and tricks, and you have a presentation that you're going to be sharing with us today. Do you want to go ahead and fire that up?
Oh, you want me to do that now? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, okay. First, I would love to know from everyone, are you familiar with the raise hand thing on the Zoom? Yeah. Okay, Jim, I see you. I would love to know how many people don't know anything about search engine optimization. If I can get a raise of hands, if anybody, a little bit. Okay, Vic, I see you. All right. And then how many of you created your own website with a DIY platform of some sort, like Squarespace or Wix? Okay, so we have a few people in there. Okay, cool. So this will be really helpful for you to learn some of the things that maybe you didn't know about before. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. Oop. All right, there it is. I got this new computer yesterday and I'm like, what the heck? It's so big. All right, so we're going to be talking about some of the best practices within search engine optimization. And I just want you to know that I'm not an expert. Google changes their algorithms 520 something times a year. And it's a full-time job to keep up with all of those changes. But I do know best practices as being a web designer. These are the things that you'll want to, at minimum, make sure that you have implemented and in place. So as I said, I am with ZHOOSH, and I like to zhuzh it up. So I zhuzh up people's websites, whether they've already built it themselves through Wix, or they're looking to create a new website. I do that for them, as well as branding. And I like to work with people who really want to put their best foot forward on their website and their presence and all of that, because that's what I do. I don't build basic websites. I do things that are really more creative and more engaging. And I love the strategy aspect of it too. So I'm a 5-star agency on Google. If you want to take a look at our ratings there, you can. And I do support small businesses globally, not just within America. Last year I created a masterclass. It's how to create a bombastic website. And it has 8 modules, 23 sessions. And this is part of one of the sessions for the SEO. So I'm going to share with you all 6 of my best practices for search engine optimization. So let's get started. What is SEO? So it seems to be like the #1 topic that people want to know about, just because it is so confusing. And honestly, I don't know who decided to create this platform. Like, they must have been really bored, right? Like, how can we get all of this?
Denise, I'm going to step in 1 second here. So I'm not sure if your slide deck is supposed to be advancing right here, but we're still on that front screen.
Okay, let me
I'm not
stop
sure.
my.
Okay, just in case, when you said, what is SEO? I thought, oh, maybe that's a different new slide.
Here, let's see this. Can you see that screen? No?
No.
Let me stop share again. Bum, ba-dum. Okay.
So
Um,
I see a white screen.
Do you see it now?
What does SEO mean?
Yeah, that's it.
I
Okay.
think actually what we're seeing here is we see two things. Yes, I see a picture on the side and a picture on the left and the right. So I'm thinking this is what the screen is supposed to look like.
Yeah. What does
Oh, I'm
SEO
glad we
mean?
pointed that out.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't realize that. So search engine optimization is the process in which Google ranks your site based off the keywords people are searching for. So hopefully that's a really clear understanding of what SEO is so that we can move forward, and then I can teach you some of the best practices for getting your ranking to the top of those search lists. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is blog posts. How many of you create blog posts or some sort of like news article or something on your website? I see one hand. Okay, two. Well, this is so important for getting additional keywords to your website. I like to use trends.google.com as this website right here, just to kind of see, you can put in multiple topics that you want to write about or that you think might be good to write about. And then once you put them in, you can see if it's trending up or down, how many searches are for that particular topic. I use it every single time I'm about to create a blog post. And also, you want to make sure that you have at least 1,500 words in that blog post. You don't want it just to be like a paragraph and call it a day, because that's not going to get any people to your website. I'll give you an example of what I did, and maybe this will be helpful for you. So I had an intern that was working for me a couple of years ago, and she was getting her degree in graphic design. So I thought, well, why don't at the end of your internship, you write an article about what makes a good design? Because you should know, right? Like, you're a graphic designer. So she created this article for me and I posted it. And since then, I've had 2,000 people from all over the world coming to my website just because of that article. So notice the title, What Makes a Good Design? It's very Googleable. People want to know, what is that? So how to make the best lasagna, what is the best drone to purchase, or, features and stuff like that. So doing some research to understand what people are searching for and having that as being the title, because what will happen is when you create the blog post, your URL slug will have what makes a good design in the URL, which is also really great for SEO. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. Okay, so backlinks. Backlinks are, oh wait, before I move forward to backlinks, let me go back to the blog post, because I told Desi I would stop after each session. I wanted to know if anybody had any questions about creating blog posts on your website.
I did see actually one in there about, you were talking about that, whoa, 1,500 words. Okay, no, I'm not that chatty. I could maybe bring my husband in for being chatty, but but Sheila mentioned something about, what about video content?
Video content would be great, but you still need those words on your website. So even if you create a video and then you have the script of the video included, then Google can't search words that you're saying in a video, at least not yet. Maybe at some point in the future, they'll be able to do that. But for now, it's more contextual. So yeah, if you include the script to the video to the bottom of within the blog post, then you'll have a double whammy, because people like watching videos rather than reading, but then you'll also have the keywords associated. It's the same with podcasts and anything like that. So if you have the script of the podcast, then that helps immensely with keywords that go onto your website.
Awesome. And it looks like Carolyn asked, do you recommend snazzy blogs you refer to?
Snazzy blogs?
Yeah.
What is
Carolyn, what
that?
are you referring to? And what's this? Everybody's like thumbs up with the Desi's chatty. And Samantha's blog posting similar to what we do with LinkedIn when we post our activities.
Is blog posting similar to what you do with LinkedIn? Is that the
Yes.
question?
Yes.
No, I would say it's a very bit, because social media, it's very condensed. So what I'll tell you is that whenever you build your website, nobody will read the content that's on the homepage. If they click through, they'll more likely read the content on the about page or whatever click-through pages. But on the blog posts, people are expecting to read, so they will stay and they will read everything that's on there. So having a little bit of a post on social media is a very different psychology measure than any website online behavioral type stuff. So understanding that blog posts are articles essentially, and people are willing to read those, it'll help give you a lot more credibility and provide more trust to those who are coming onto your site to know that you know what it is that you're talking about. So definitely being a little bit more thorough. I know I'm like you, Desi, I don't really talk all that much. So thinking about presenting for 30 minutes gave me a bit of a panic attack today. But yeah, I would just say try to target for 1,500 words. It's really not that much once you look at it. It only takes a few minutes to read that. But definitely provide information that's helpful to people so that it's not a waste of their time when they do go there. Like think of why do I care whenever you're writing something is one of the things that I do. If I was reading it, why do I care? And make sure that it addresses that for people.
Awesome. Awesome. Vic, your hand is up.
Yes, ma'am. Quick question then. I don't have a blog area per se on my website, but I do have a blog link because our articles are on a different website than my commercial site. It's on the other side of things, on the 501c6 side. Is doing a link, like having a page of nothing but a link to that other website page, or should I link each individual article?
I wouldn't recommend adding any links to drive traffic away from your site.
Well, it's from one site to another. They're both my sites, but
Okay, so I suppose it depends what your goals are for each of those sites.
okay.
So if your goal is to drive traffic from one site to the other and vice versa, then that's totally fine. But
Okay.
the goal for every website is to get people to stay on that website for as long as possible. One, because it helps expand your brand connectivity. So if people are on there for 3 minutes or more, then they'll remember your brand a lot easier. And then another is for one of the things I'm not talking about is Google and just establishing that trust, because they track how many minutes people stay onto your website. So if they're just going on your website and then clicking off and going somewhere else, it shows as bad form on Google. If it's possible to have them both on like a blog post, the same blog post on both websites, then I would recommend doing that rather than driving traffic away.
Well, the way I have them set up now, it opens in a new window. So are they technically still on my site when they go to the second window, or how does that work?
No.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I'll look into that. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, I'll move on to the next topic.
So really quickly, can we
Backlinks.
answer one more?
Oh, sure, go ahead.
How often should we post?
I recommend posting at least once a month.
Okay. thank
Yeah,
you.
and some people do more. I guess it just depends how much time, but at minimum, I don't have a ton of time to write blog posts and articles, so I try to do something once a month. You can hire a copywriter to help you, which they'll do website copy for you, which is great because they'll integrate a lot of those keywords for you for SEO. But if you have the time to do it once a month, definitely do that. Cool, good. Those are great questions. All right, so now backlinks. Backlinks are links that go from one website pointing to another. So there is Yelp, for example. Every business that's on Yelp likely has their website on there. So that's a backlink for the company. On all the websites that I build for ZHOOSH under my brand, I put a link to my website on all of their websites at the bottom. So if people are interested, they can click and see me. Those are backlinks. And the reason why backlinks are so important is because it establishes credibility with your website and your brand. So the more backlinks that you can get onto your site, then the better that it looks from Google's perspective. I don't know if you see a trend here, but a lot of this is about establishing credibility of your business and your brand. And so that's why backlinks are important. I do have this article that I would like to share with you all. I'll put it in the chat if I can figure out how to do this. It's called The Beginner's Guide to Link Building, which is a whole other thing that I can tell you I'm not entirely versed on, but I do think that it's really interesting of a read. So you can take a look at that and see if that will help you. All right. I don't know where my presentation went.
Well, we got the link and we see your presentation still. So
It's not on my screen.
all those new screens.
Okay, here we go.
Now it's big again. There you go.
Okay.
All good.
I probably should have done this on my old computer. But are there any questions about creating backlinks and what backlinks are? Okay.
Like anything's
will
popped up
move
in the chat.
Okay. So Google My Business. Now, Google My Business has changed their platform a little bit since I did it. So when I did it, I would go to business.google.com, and I have an office in Chicago. And so I had that was my location. So if you have a location for your business, I highly recommend getting your profile set up on Google My Business. I believe the way that you do it now is through the Maps app, and you just create a new profile there. So what happens is when you create a profile, they'll send you a postcard, and it has a little code on it because they want to double check and make sure it's legit. And then once you get that postcard a week or so later, you enter in the code, and then you're able to activate Google My Business. So why is that important? It's because you need to show trust and credibility within Google by the ratings that you're getting. So if you can get as many reviews as possible onto your Google My Business profile, that's highly recommended. I will say though that I've had a lot of problems getting my, I have like 10 clients that have tried to leave a review on my profile and they haven't gone through, and I don't understand why that is. So it is kind of annoying, but if you can get people to leave reviews onto the platform, then that will also help build that credibility that Google needs to make sure that you are a legit business and that you're good at what you do. Does anybody have any questions about the Google My Business?
So
Would that
just-
also, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Vic.
Okay, would that also include business to business? You know, I can have I deal a lot with marketing directors, obviously, and I could have a marketing director go on my Google account, I guess, since I have one. I think my business is listed on Google Maps, so I guess I have one. And would that, I mean, it's not necessarily tied to a company, it's tied to a specific person within that company. Would that help?
I haven't heard where you can tie it to a specific person in a company. I do know.
I mean, it would just be the person's name is leaving a review rather than another business. I guess I should
the
phrase
person-
that better. Sorry.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who's leaving it as long as you're getting them and they're leaving them. Google tells me not to let them ramble on for too long, but some of my reviews are really long, and they explain a lot more of the struggles that they had before they started working with me. But then Google's like, well, make sure that they keep them short. And I was like, well, okay, I don't understand. So it seems like they keep changing things up there. The caveat to this is that if you do not have a physical location for your business, then you cannot have a Google My Business profile, unfortunately.
All right, and that pretty much answered what Sam had asked about, you meaning a physical brick and mortar kind of a location, so.
Yeah, even if you have co-working space, like the co-working spaces may allow for you to utilize their address as your business address. So that's very possible. And sometimes co-working spaces will allow for you to, you know, pay $50 a month or something like that, just to have your mail sent there and to have an address. So that might be something to consider. I don't know about UPS stores, you know, how they have addresses there for you, like PO boxes you can get within there. I'm not really sure how that works, but I'm pretty sure PO boxes don't work, but some UPS stores have physical locations with a unit number, so that might work. So yeah, they're a little bit picky with that. All right.
That's done through the Google Maps. Go set that up.
Yeah, on the Google Map app or try business.google.com and see if that still works. It might still work. All right. So title tags and meta descriptions. So this is something that I wanted to see, like if I go out of here, can you guys see my screen, the Moz for Beginners guide? No.
We're seeing your screen just smaller. Is that
Titles,
what
tags, and meta descriptions.
Is that what you're seeing?
Yeah, no, that's not what I wanted to show you. I wanted to go into Moz. So I'll just talk about it rather than going into it and showing it to you. So title tags and meta description. So if you can see here on the right-hand side, this blue title with the underline, the one that's always clickable on Google, that's the title tag. And then this right here, the black text with the black bold is the metadata descriptions. And then of course, this green is the URL. So I want to point out the voice.search here and the URL. That's very helpful for any searches. So this person typed in Google search voice and they had the voice search inside search Google. That came up because their title tag and those keywords were there. So the best way that you format it, this one isn't formatted the way that I've seen or have been advised to do it, but the best way to format your title tags is to have your main keyword, the bar, and then your business name, and then a bar and your location if you only service people within your location. If you service people within California, then put California. If you service people within the United States, then put United States. If you service people globally, don't put anything at all. Just leave it blank. So sometimes people will have two different keywords that they will associate with their business. For example, one of my clients has an online fitness platform, but they also do personal training. So I put online fitness dash personal training slash business name slash and their location. But since they service globally, then they don't really have the slash after that. So that's important because if you have your location here, then people within your area, when they search, they'll be directed more towards you versus a lot of the other folks that do the same work that you do that might not be too local or close to them. So having it set up this way, the title tags is highly recommended. And if you have the two keywords, it'll be voice, like this one's voice search dash inside search. That's what you want it to look like. And then have the bar plus the business name. So then the metadata description needs to have your main keywords as well. So see how this is Google search voice and this is the metadata description. So it has in the bold here, voice search, because that was in the metadata description. I will say for metadata descriptions to have this ... that's here is a really poor form. You don't want to have, it's a bad user experience. So you want to make sure that you keep it less than 120 characters. And if that's too long, just double check like within a month or so. It usually takes Google a really long time to update those things. So check back like in a month to make sure that there's not a ... on your listing, and see if you can go in and change the metadata description to shorten it a bit. I've also heard that a really great thing to do for user experience within the metadata descriptions is to include a call to action. So something like click here to learn about our business or whatever, or, you know, some sort of like call to action, like here you'll find, click here to learn more, or something along those lines. I know title tags and metadata descriptions can be a little bit confusing, but do you guys have any questions about this particular tip?
So I have a random thing. So when you're saying put in that location, you had said if it's a specific area we're targeting, then put that in there. If it's global, put it in, don't even put it in there. But so is that how, so a lot of times I search restaurants near me, or, you know, you're traveling and it's, you know, RV parks near me or whatever it is. Is that how they get that near me, is by you putting in that location in there? Are you
Yeah.
dictating what Google's going to be finding?
I think there's a lot of like algorithm reasonings behind that for the location, but that certainly does help if you have your location there. And people do search for restaurants near me, or like Italian restaurants near me. Then the more specific they are, then the more likelihood that your business profile will be there, because you have the keywords that are associated with that.
Yes.
And the location.
Awesome. Vic, you have another question, and then it looks
I
like one
do.
in our chat.
When you said call to action, made me think of something. Can we use HTML tags, like set up a mail to action in the description?
I wouldn't recommend that.
Okay.
It
That's
takes
definitely a
up
call
too
to
many-
action, but that's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, it's too many characters for that, and it doesn't have the keywords that you need for people to search you. I saw Farms. Did I?
Yeah, Founts.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's a challenging name. I'm a little confused between, you said between the bar and the slash. Do we use the slash when we do the keyword tag? Do we use the bar? Because you mentioned you went back and forth between the two.
Yes, the only
The
time
title
you
tags.
use the slash like this is if you have two keywords. Like my
Okay.
clients was like online fitness was their keywords, dash,
Okay.
and then personal training. So those are two like really Googleable keywords when I did my research.
Okay.
And then you do the bar, business name, and then bar location.
Okay. All right.
Is that helpful? I wanted to
Yes.
talk too about keyword research and how you can do that. So I had pulled up the website to show you guys, but you know, technical challenges here with this new computer. The website that you would want to go to is moz.com. It's completely free to use their keyword explorer. Don't sign up for anything. It does take a while to click through because you have to log in. And then once you log in and create an account, then you have to find the keyword explorer. But once you find it, take advantage of that and type in some keywords that are popular within your industry and see what's coming up most, because it'll give you all of these recommendations. And then go in and change your title tags and your metadata descriptions. And if you've created your own website, then you can go in and adjust the keywords that are associated to the back end, and then also making sure that it's in the text within the home page. So that'll help just kind of like do this whole web of keyword tagging and whatnot.
So we have a couple questions into our chat. How
Okay.
often should the tags and the descriptions be updated?
I don't think there's really any sort of guideline on that. I haven't heard. I don't really change mine all that often because my keywords don't really change. So I focus a lot more of my energy on creating the blog posts and making sure see, like with the blog post, you would have voice dash search. So it would be like whatever the name of the title of your blog post would be that. So I would say just updating it one time on the homepage, unless your business is starting to take a change and that the keywords would be different for that.
Awesome. Okay. And Sheila had one. Is there anything we need to do to make the search easier for disabilities, accessible search, anything specific for those limited with vision or hearing, etc.?
Yes, and I'm going to go into that here shortly.
So. All right. That looks like wraps
that
it up for our questions at this time.
All right, moving on to accessibility. I cannot tell you all how important it is to design for the visually impaired. Like, there are companies out there that are getting sued because their websites are not accessible. So there are a few tools, and I'll put them in the chat at the end, that I can send to you so that you can test your website to make sure that there are no visibility errors. It is so important. Another SEO aspect from the accessibility perspective is to include alt text on every single photo that's on your website. And so let's just use this guy here as an example. You wouldn't want to put your alt text as just being a guy looking at a phone. You want to put like maybe a guy looking at his phone with a surprising expression on his face, you know, as much detail as possible. If there's a photo of a cake with candles and all that on it, don't just put birthday cake, you know, put birthday cake with 3 candles and 5 people standing around, as much detail as possible. Now, some people in some industries will utilize the alt text as part of their SEO strategy. So if you are taking photos with your drone, then you could say a photo of blah, blah valley, taken by drone, blah, blah, blah. You know, like you can just include those keywords that you've already done the research on into all of your alt text for the photos. And that can also help drive traffic to your website. But please do not keep the alt text simplified. People who are visually impaired really want to know what it is that they're expecting to see in these photos. And it's really just, for me, it's a gift, the best gift you can give to people, to give them a full picture of what they're meant to be looking at. As well as for accessibility, we want to talk a little bit about ensuring that the proper tags are associated with your text on your website. So I think a lot of people might not realize that websites are just like those reports that you would write in college. So in the reports you wrote in college, you had a header that had your name and the date and probably the class name and number. And then you had a title and then you had headers with the underneath the title with the paragraph type. And then at the footer, you had a footer that had the page number and all of that. Websites are exactly the same. You have the header, you have the body, you have the footer. And so on the in the body of the text, every single text box is associated with header 1, header 2, header 3, header 4, header 5, header 6, or H1 through 6. And then paragraphs is paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, or P1 through 3. So you want to make sure that every page on your website has an H1 or header 1, and that's your title. It can only have one header 1 for good SEO. And then everything else should be header 2 or header 3. I never use header 4, 5, or 6. For your paragraph text boxes, always just use P1. There's really no need to use P2 or P3. It'll create a very clean structure for your website. And I know that a lot of people don't really think about this when they're designing their own, because no one really knows like what that really means, but it also helps for the visually impaired to be able to tell what is what. is this the main title of the page, or is it just a subheading within the title of that page? So I know that can be a little bit confusing because I think a lot of people don't really know where to go to make those changes. But I'll tell you that if you designed your own website and you click on the text, then it should show up as what type of text it is, if it's in the header one or whatever, and you can adjust and change it all there. Questions for accessibility?
No, I think that's fantastic, putting that information in there. So yeah, you covered that great, right on topic, right there with Sheila.
Okay, good. Awesome. So let's move on to the next thing. Pop-ups. Don't do it. That's my number one recommendation to you is Google has been penalizing sites who utilize them for ages. They hate the pop-ups. People don't like the pop-ups. Marketing companies will tell you to have a pop-up to include a free downloadable thing so that you can start this sales funnel thing. Doesn't work. Nobody clicks on them. You might get like 1 or 2 people that'll click on them. It's not worth the energy. It's not worth the frustration. It's a very bad user experience. Do not use pop-ups. But if you absolutely must use pop-ups, then make sure that it is less than 15% of the page, because that's when Google will really start penalizing you. I hope that's very clear. Don't use them. Any questions for pop-ups?
Yeah, just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Vic asked in our chat, how many people have blocked the pop-ups? Oh, and Jill asked a really great one also on here. What is the penalty? How does Google penalize you?
They just downgrade yours. So if I'm searching for best restaurant, then your search, your criteria, your business will be towards the bottom of the list. That's what they mean by penalizing. They won't put you towards the top.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they also penalize for, you know, the accessibility stuff that we just talked about. Website accessibility is a huge topic right now. And I know that they're doing a lot of penalizing for sites that don't have proper structures set up. So that's just how they do it. They just don't put you towards the top. Similar with Yelp, like if you have a bad review and you don't pay Yelp, I would also recommend not adding your content onto Yelp because they are horrible for small businesses. But like if you choose not to pay them to have service with them, then they'll put your worst reviews at the top. It's just really bad. But yeah, that's how they penalize you.
All right, Sheila's got another one in here. When you say Google, is YouTube included in the search engine? Is it separate from your examples?
And YouTube is included. Can you rephrase that? Maybe I don't understand.
You want to unmic? Sheila,
Is YouTube basically Google because it's the second biggest search engine, right? I mean, doesn't Google own YouTube, so
I think they do, but it's the difference with YouTube and Google is Google will search content on YouTube, but YouTube will not search content on Google.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, YouTube just searches the content that's located within its own infrastructure.
that's a great way to put it. So if someone has a bad review on their site, what can they do about that? You mentioned
Reach
that
out to the client and see if they can adjust it. That's really the only thing that you can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you recommend responding to them
I
on
would,
the review?
yeah, but just keep in mind everyone can everyone can see it. Yeah, I do see people that respond, and I know that Google encourages you to respond to all of the reviews that people leave for you. So yeah, I would certainly respond to it and see if there's any way that, excuse me, that you can mitigate that.
Okay. And Vic asked about, what about a fake review?
Oh, I think there's a way to report fake reviews. Yeah, I think if you I want to say if you right click on them, that you might be able to report them and say that you never worked with this person. Because I know that Google is being super specific with how they're allowing for reviews to get published. And of course, there's going to be some fake reviews on there and they can't manage everything. But if you notice it as being fake, see how you can report that one so that it can get removed. All right, so I'll move on from pop-ups. I think this is it. Yeah, that was it. That was all of my presentation. So yeah, I wanted to invite all of you to schedule a meeting with me. So I do free website consultations for folks just so that we can take a look and make sure that all of those things that I just talked about have been addressed. And then I can also take a look from a visual perspective and see if I can give you any ideas or strategy for how to engage users. There's a whole thing about online behavior and the way that people interact with things and making it engaging, or if it's not engaging. So I invite all of you to schedule an appointment with me, and you can do that on my website at ZHOOSHcreative.com. And I would love to meet all of you.
Awesome. Awesome. Can you put
That
your
was awesome.
contact into our chat? Thank you, Franz. Didn't mean to walk on you right there. I think that was you that said it was awesome.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. I'm used to it from you, Desi. She's not chatty at all.
No, not me. Not me.
No.
Okay,
Real
point
quick, I
taken.
just wanted to ask real quick. I'm in the middle of a redesign and launching a new one. What would be best to get a hold of you to do your free consult in the middle, beginning, end, what?
Oh yeah, if you just go to ZHOOSHcreative.com, I put it in the chat there for you. When you scroll down on the site, it just says schedule 30-minute consultation. And then you can just click that and it'll bring up a calendar, and then you can pick whatever time works best for you.
Oh, that I figured out. For me, as I'm in the middle of a rebrand and building out a new one, should I do it, consult with you before, when I'm done?
Oh.
What would be the optimal, would you think?
I would do it maybe pre-launch.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
like right before you're about to push the publish
Push the
button.
live button.
Yeah. Let me take a look at it first and just make sure that it's
Okay,
copacetic.
great. It just so happens, I noticed on your LinkedIn, I'm also taking my level 2 WSET next month.
Hey, congratulations. That's exciting.
Yeah, I live in Temecula, so I mean, that's obvious.
Oh, wine is the best.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, does anybody have any last minute questions? And I know there was a lot there, fantastic tips and ideas and suggestions for what we can do on our website. And it's just so key because so many of us are actually handling that aspect of it. And so we wonder, okay, where do we begin? Where's this going to pay off to the best? And so we just really got a lot of great information here today. And a lot of thank yous popping in there. Great information. Denise did put her contact information in there. Best web building referral hints.
I don't know what that means. Sorry.
Do you want to unmic and ask your question?
Yes, I was just curious. How would you find the best web building website tips on what you look for when building a website or bettering your website?
Oh, so I usually take a look to read the content, because a lot of times when I created my masterclass for how to create a bombastic website, the reason why I did it, it's because so many small businesses, they think that they can talk to every person when that's not the case. Like, you really have to define your branding, and they over explain everything. So there's so much content that's on that homepage that people are crossing their eyeballs because they're just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to read all of this, and this is overwhelming. And then they click off and they're gone. And then there goes a missed opportunity. So I like to take a look at the strategy of how it's structured, how much content is there versus with imagery, understanding who your target person is, not range, and seeing if you're talking to that person in a way that's going to engage them to want to click through to learn more. And there's like all these sales techniques and stuff that I like to review and make sure that you're addressing those sales techniques and understanding online behavior and all of that. So I'll just take like a look, an overall look, saying like, what if you adjusted this or did that? And maybe put like a visual or something here. And then I'd like to take a look and make sure that it's visually acceptable for the visually impaired. Just stuff like that. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. And that's another reason why I created the course, because I think a lot of people who DIY their own websites, they really don't get how much energy and effort that it goes into creating something that's not just about putting imagery and words on a screen. It's so much more complicated than that. And I think a lot of people might undervalue what the work of what a web designer actually does. And so this kind of helps educate them. I mean, it's everything that I know. So I didn't leave anything out in the course, but it is overwhelming and there is a lot to consider there.
Thank you. That's perfect. I like that you said target person. There's an individual you want to connect with. Beautiful.
Yeah, you're not talking to a group of people, you're talking to one person, especially with websites, because we are one person, not unless you have several people with you that's like sitting around you searching. It's usually not the case.
Awesome. Sheila said, websites are no joke. And that's so true. Not a fan of Wix, but that's so. Just out of curiosity, throw into the chat. I know we're out of time. Throw into the chat what one you are using. What platform for doing your website are you using? I have to say, I'm the only one on WordPress here, I think. What's up with that? Right? So yay, Caroline, yay, we're the WordPress team. Love it. Oh, look, somebody got to pay a web builder. That's awesome. What? Steven, you're a WordPress too. Bounce. Oh my gosh, I thought I was all alone in this group. Oh, I'm loving it. Squarespace. There you go. Got another one. Wix. WordPress. Parker, you're in there too. Oh, look at there. We got another WordPress. I love this. Oh my gosh. Look, still looking. Narrowed it down to WordPress or Squarespace. This is some good stuff going on right here, right? Oh, I fired my web designer. Okay, so Founts has an opening. No. I love it. Okay, so I guess there are a lot of WordPress users. Here I thought I was going to be all alone. Jim, he is the web designer. There you go. Yeah, and see, that's why this session was so key to me, because we are, unfortunately, when we first start out or we've been in the trenches for a while, we find that we're handling all aspects of our business. And so we're not only the one that's out flying, we're the one that's doing the accounting. We're the one that's also handling all the web design and all the marketing and everything. So that's why I thought this was so key to what we're doing. So awesome. Thank you so much, Denise, for sharing with us today. She's got her information in there. So if anybody wants to reach out, I definitely would take advantage of that session that she offered. And I just want to say thank you, everybody, for being here. And I look forward to next week. Also, not next week, but the week after, Jim Bonnerdale is going to do a session on Leakgy. Yeah, that's coming up. Awesome. All right. Thank you. Have a good week. Have fun. Can't wait. Share with us next week about your flying adventures. Linda, we're going to want to know where you are, what state. All right.
Besides the state of confusion.
Thank you.
There you go.
Bye, guys. Fly safe.
All right. Bye, everybody. I'll stay on for a few more minutes.
Thanks, Denise.
Thank you,
Yes.
Sharon.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Have a great
Bye.
week.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
That kind of wraps it up.
Bye.